I want you to meet our first guest.
New to the area,
Yeah, never met him before.
passing through.
You know, John's laugh is the only laugh you can hear from the West Wing when he's in the East Wing. It's infectious. My office is in the middle of the East Wing, and I can hear John in the hallway laughing, and I know it's him, and I always welcome him to my office. So.
That voice belongs to the mogul, Mr. Michael Hornby, delegate and world traveler, too, I might add, as well. You go into Mike's office, there's a pin in every country that he's been in around the world. How many does it wind up to?
I think we're at 72.
72?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So over my lifetime. Yeah, I did a lot of those in my teenage years, 16 to 19. But
Yes, there's little Hornbys all around the globe now.
I cannot comment.
How
Good
many
morning.
of them are you forbidden to return to?
One.
Okay.
One. I was deported twice out of one country, yeah.
Oh, which country was that?
Malaysia.
Malaysia.
Yeah, working illegally.
Lawbreakers.
Kind of ironic now.
Undocumented.
So, first and foremost, this sports complex in Berkeley County, Mike, I know you're familiar with this a little bit. How much do you know about it?
I know what Eddie and Steve told you yesterday. I've heard about it last couple of months. I know Jennifer's been working on it.
Jennifer Smith.
Yeah, I congratulate the commissioners for moving forward. I think it's a great idea. I don't think it'll be an issue getting us stiff through the legislature. We've done it for multiple other counties over the last few years that I've been in the legislature. This sounds like a win-win for Berkeley County.
There's a lot of confusion about what a sales tax increment financing arrangement is. Some folks in our comment section yesterday, and I'm sure some watching or listening, thought that meant additional sales taxes were going to be levied.
No, so that piece of property right now is generating 0% sales tax. It's a piece of ground that the county or the Economic Development Authority owns. It generates no money for the county or for the state. So what they will do is they'll implement a sales tax increment financing on that piece of property, and all of the revenue that comes from that property until they pay off their loan will go towards to stay within the county and go.
And where is it?
I think it's on the west side of 81. On the opposite end of the airport is from what I exit 8, I believe.
Now,
Tabler Station Road, yeah.
Tabler Station. Yeah.
Would that include the entire sales tax? I mean, let's say counties would adopt the 1%. It would be the state's portion and the county's portion. Is that right?
So it's not a 1%. It's just whatever sales tax, the full 6% would stay within the county.
Right.
So it's not increasing anything. It's just
right.
whatever would be generated by sales tax. Let's say a Cabela's and 4 hotels and 6 restaurants and all that tax that is generated by that property until that loan is paid off would stay within the county so that they could pay for it.
Got it. Yeah.
So it's basically local control using local economic development to pay for so the state doesn't actually have to pay for the $75 million.
Right. Yeah.
Let's talk about Germany. Mr. Haidt was in earlier this week to talk about London.
Yeah.
I know you were on part of that trip as well, but he was not in Germany and you were.
No, Delegate Akers and I joined the economic development team, which is the agency in Dusseldorf at the K Show, which is a plastics trade show. We met with a number of companies, one potential Turkish company that is coming here, as well as a number of companies that are already in West Virginia looking to expand. So we met with them. We have a very robust chemical and plastics industry here in West Virginia because of all of our natural gas and our drilling and coal and things like that. So we use a lot of it.
Is that mostly around the Canal area?
It's Northern Panhandle, Monongalia, Kanawha. I mean, we have a lot of process and manufacturing in Kanawha. So the one mining company we met with is already here. We met with his brother, who has a very large company, who's looking to move here, and we had a great conversation with them. We met with Dow, which is obviously one of our biggest employers. We went with their global affairs team to talk about expansion and things that they could do like that. So can't go into too many details, but very positive. We were only there 2 days before we joined the rest of the team at MRO Europe, talking aviation. I had a long and robust conversation with the state of Oklahoma. They had a very large booth there about 8 years ago. They invested in education for the aviation industry. They now have 1,100 MROs, manufacturing, repair, overhaul facilities. It is amazing what they've done, but they invested in high schools, CTCs, and technical institutes, allowing them to partner with the FAA to get funding so that you're actually teaching these kids how to be mechanics in high school, which has been an amazing result.
We need to do something to get air traffic controllers because we're way short of those folks.
That's also true. So I had a great meeting on Saturday, 2.5 hours with the governor. He had called a meeting, so it was myself and Height in a room with the governor for 2.5 hours, where he listened and just heard our ideas about what we could do in the Panhandle and what we could do for Martinsburg, especially for the airport there. I think Nick has a really good plan, starting with the school, the FAA.
Nick Deal?
Nick Deal, yeah.
He's coming in next week, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a plan for a school to train the FAA 147, Part 147 training, partnering up with Blue Ridge, Marshall, and Shepherd. That's a $5 million project, and I was pitching that to the governor, and the governor was all ears. So
it was just you and Mike Height?
Just me and Mike Height, yeah.
Why just the two of you?
The governor wanted a meeting. He texted and said, would you be available on Saturday afternoon? And of course I said yes, and I was honored to I got to give him credit. He called the meeting, and he did a lot of listening, and we had a lot of discussion. We had a lot of back and forth about what he's doing, what his plans are in the next upcoming session, what our plans for the House are in the upcoming session, because I know we're going to be focusing heavily on economic development.
So what was that meeting like? What did he want to know? Did he want to know what the perception of him was by chance? Because the perception that I'm getting is that he's not the pro-business governor that Justice was. It doesn't seem to be that recruiting new business to the state is as big of a priority to him as it was for Jim Justice.
I think that can be the perception. I think after that meeting, I changed my mind on that. This is the first time I've had such a comprehensive discussion with the governor. I was honored to be there, and I give him credit for listening. We did push back, and the badger got badgery. But at the same time, he was open to all discussions, and there was that feedback and back and forth. So he was open to what we were saying. Why he picked Mike and I don't know. He did say he gets us confused and kind of puts us together, and we did say that we're two very different legislators, and we definitely don't vote the same on issues.
And you're the one with the TV station.
And I'm the one on TV.
Mr. Gilstrap.
So when you go to these trade shows, and you're talking to people about coming to West Virginia, are you talking to companies that are looking to expand out of Germany to some country, so come to the U.S. and
So a lot of these are pre-set up. We've booked appointments with these companies. Some of these companies already have a presence in the United States. I think that's important because getting into the United States can be hard for companies. But what sets West Virginia apart is, one, our real estate is cheaper. Our taxes are lower. And we have a very pro-business environment in West Virginia. So there are companies that are looking to expand their footprint within the United States. And we want to make sure that West Virginia is at the front of their thought when they do decide to expand that. It might not be a German company, for instance. It might be a multinational company that's all over the globe, but they need a footprint on the East Coast of the United States. So they may have a footprint in California, and they're looking to expand to the East Coast. Well, we want them to think of West Virginia first.
Is tariff avoidance part of the conversation at all?
It is a huge part of the European mindset right now. They're extremely worried about it. A lot of companies, and I think this is where it's actually working, is because they can partner with a U.S. company and they can manufacture here and maybe sidestep those tariffs. It's now really important for a company that doesn't have a footprint in the U.S. to maybe have a manufacturing plant in the U.S. So it's the first thing we talk about, because just like most of the folks at home, they think we're federal senators and delegates. We're not. We're at the state level. I think the state can move much faster than the feds can, but the folks over there see your House of Delegates or your senator, they immediately think, well, what's Trump doing? Have you talked to Trump? So you got to let them know that.
Do you know
yes, Charlie Trump, I know him well.
Yeah.
Do you know what the rules are when at what point do the tariffs cease to be a problem? If a company says, yes, I'm going to partner with an American company, do the tariffs then go away, or do they have to actually build their factory before the tariffs go away?
So again, those are questions you'd need to talk to Shelley Moore Capito and Riley Moore and,
Okay.
and
All right.
Senator Justice. Those are the things that we still are a little in the dark on, but there are ways that we can put them in touch with the governor's team and the economic development. Every company's different. Every product's different. It's really, really tailored to what your company is. So,
Mr. Doyle.
depends is the answer, John.
Related to this, I think, this airport in Martinsburg, we talked about it a little bit earlier, I think has tremendous potential in a number of different ways. And I do think when you're talking about these, when I mentioned air traffic controllers, I do think that would be an ideal place for an installation to train air traffic controllers. But also, is there any possibility, anytime in the near future, for any kind of scheduled commercial air service that we could get there?
No,
Not at all.
not in Martinsburg. I don't think it's a viable solution. I don't think that's. I mean, we've got Hagerstown right up north.
Yeah.
We got an hour east of us is one of the biggest airports in the world, and an hour and a half is another biggest airport in the world.
Well, what I'm thinking of, though,
So the traffic would never be enough. I mean, NetJets is based out of D.C. What we're looking to do, and to your point for the air traffic controllers,
Yeah.
we don't have enough air traffic space to do the training here. We've got a tower, that's great, but what we do have is real estate where we can train people to work on engines. We talked with a very large engine supplier who's looking for some space. They're already in West Virginia, but they're looking to expand their U.S. Thing. We have space to build these massive hangars, wide-body hangars, where we can do all the maintenance on Airbus A320s, Boeing 767s, those kind of things. Where if you look at the global fleet of airplanes, these airplanes are in the air for 40, 50 years. They need maintenance, and they need to be certified every so many years. And there's a shortage of those facilities across the globe. So that's kind of what we're focused on for Martinsburg anyway. We just inked a deal in Huntington, and I give Marshall University credit. 650 jobs to be working on engines down in Huntington because of the training that Marshall is doing at their school next to the airport. So for me, my vision is let's focus on the education side. Let's get the people trained. All those companies will get here.
Yes, that's good. But back just one more on air service. What I really had in mind was a commuter air service to Dulles or BWI or Reagan National, say one flight a day each way. That way, I think there are people who would drive to Dulles who would much prefer to park their car here, fly the jump down there, and catch their flight to wherever they're going.
I think if you look at the Hagerstown model, they're going to Orlando, they're going to Myrtle Beach. If Hagerstown to D.C. hasn't worked, and they have been a commuter air service, it has to work for the company. I think for Martinsburg, because we have such a great runway and giant runway, we can land
much bigger than Hagerstown's.
We could essentially DHL, UPS, if we invested in a customs port, and we could bring that. It could be a cargo. I just don't. And I've talked to Nick about this. We just don't think that customer-based is viable in Martinsburg yet. I mean, it's got to pay off for the company.
Well, certainly. Okay.
We've had that conversation. Nick Deal's been on the program. Like I said, he'll be on, I believe, next week. And it seems like the commercial end of it is a lot more viable than the private.
We're open to all options. Trust me. I mean, Nick would take any, but we got lots of space out there.
Yeah.
So.
I want to go back to this notion. When you say about working on engines, it just now occurred to me as you're talking, while the engine is still attached to the airplane.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not talking about just engines. We're talking you got to have space for the whole.
It could be
aircraft.
overhauling the inside of the aircraft, turning a 767 from a passenger aircraft into a cargo aircraft, because that's usually how that happens. It could be working on the avionics, updating the avionics. there are so many different avenues that we could fill, and we can train high school kids, college kids, engineers all around our airport to do these. It could be building engines.
This seems like a slam dunk to me. Who's our competition? Or where is our competition?
Our competition is Oklahoma, because they've got an 8-year jump on us, and they already have 1,100 companies doing it. They've got lots of flat land.
They do have that.
Which is important. I mean, in West Virginia, not all of our airports are built on a piece of flat land like ours is.
But no tornadoes, really.
But we don't have any natural disasters.
Right.
And we're a lot closer to
and we're a lot closer to
Dulles
and Dulles is where United's based out of, and that's kind of where I'm focusing on. Is we are very close to, I think, 7 of our biggest international airports.
Well, and isn't BWI a Southwest hub, and American has a hub at DCA?
New York is not far away by air.
So we talked to you in a previous visit about the industry of painting plans.
Yeah.
There's a 2-year wait to get a paint plan. Why is there a 2-year wait?
2.5-year wait on a wide body, and the wide bodies, the big planes, the 737s are what we call narrow body.
Does that mean when they finish building the plane, it takes another 2.5 years to get into service just because it needs painted?
Yeah, it could. Boeing has slowed down production quite a bit. They've had a number of issues with the strike, everything over the last couple of years. So Airbus is still producing, but it's you don't just paint an airplane. It's very specific because obviously paint weighs pounds, and you can't just throw paint on a plane. It has to be very, very
remember
specific.
American Airlines back in the 80s, maybe the 90s,
Silver.
they made the decision to not paint their airplanes. So they have these stainless steel airplanes that are essentially unpainted, and they saved, I don't know, I forget what the total weight was, but it's an astonishing, it's 1,000 pounds of...
It's a lot of paint.
Yeah.
So my
And I think they look better anyway, those silver planes.
my vision was to allow the airport authority to borrow the money from the Economic Development Authority, the state Economic Development Authority, lease out these hangars to ABC Company, which will pay it off over 30 years. Then the airport authority owns the building.
Are you getting anywhere with it?
We're making progress. Yeah, we're making progress.
How much money do you need to pull it off?
For a narrow body hangar, it's about $15 million. For a wide body hangar, depending on the fittings that they want, offices, things like that, it's around $35 million.
Do you have to convince the company to leave where they are to come here, or do you have to convince them that they need a new place?
I think most of them are convinced already that they need a new place, and they're willing to move. What these companies, these aviation companies around the globe, they don't want to own the buildings. They want to lease the building. They'll pay for it. But they don't want to own the building. So it's kind of like if you build it, they will come. But we can't build it without a commitment from a company first. So it's kind of the chicken chasing the egg, if you will. But we have made significant progress with this company coming to Huntington, and we want to replicate that model across our 7 regional airports.
So is it the state owning the building or a private investor owning the building?
No, so eventually the authority or airport owns the building. The state is providing the low interest loan. There has to be a private-public partnership, so a private investor is actually putting money into, and then obviously the company has to lease the building. So it's a partnership.
How big of a building are we talking about?
Giant, like the size of the hangars that we have on the Air Guard side. So
Yeah, because those were those could accommodate the C-5 when we had it. Yeah.
it might not be as tall as those, but it's essentially that size. You've got to be able to put a Boeing inside.
So who do you report this information to after you gather it on these trips?
I'm working with, obviously we're working with the Economic Development Team, which is the agency itself. We have a meeting today at 10:30 with our team to go over our notes and go over our details, and then we'll report back to the Speaker. That's who we report to. That's who we're working for at this point. And then we'll follow up. Tony Stroud from Marshall joined us on this trip, obviously, because we had that deal that we were inking for Huntington. So we will finalize that deal, I think, and then we'll move on to the next one.
So how do you leave it with these prospective companies you're talking with? Do they say, well, if you get me this information, I can give you an answer? What's the...
These companies are making decisions over. If they're ready to go, they can make decisions within 6 to 8 weeks. But obviously, the relationship that we're building with some of these companies can take years to complete. So, we're meeting, we're talking specifics in some cases. Some of them are asking about the business incentives, the tax incentives, the financing incentives. So we go over all those facts, but really, as an elected official, we're schmoozing, and then we're passing it off to the economic development team for them to do the actual negotiations. So we don't overpromise or do any actual negotiations. We just sell West Virginia and then move on.
Is it possible that some of this instruction could take place senior year in high school for kids who are headed in that direction?
It could take place freshman. In Oklahoma, they're doing throughout high school. So kids are being incentivized, schools are being incentivized to teach these programs, whether it's being a mechanic on an engine, whether it's working on avionics, whether it's learning how to do pilot training, whether it's traffic control. They're incentivizing the whole aviation industry within the schools so that a kid can come out of school, go to a community or technical college or a technical institute like James Rumsey and get an $85,000 job before they're 20.
I had a cousin who did this. He ended up being like the chief flight mechanic for U.S. Air or something.
It
like
is
that.
one of the fastest growing industries in the world. We have a real shortage of folks working on it. We have shortage of those suppliers for those MROs. So I think we've identified this as something we want to attack as a state.
I'm going to guess it's a great thing for veterans who have spent, that aren't lifers, who have been 6 years or whatever in the aviation part of the military to come back and they've.
I mean, yeah. And those are the kind of people that can be teaching. Those are the kind of people that can be training. Those are the kind of people that can be leading this group of folks. And I think it's only positive.
Got a minute left. What's your next trip?
I have a trip to Portugal to meet with a company. That's all I've got left for the year, I think.
When will that take place?
November. But it's a web summit. It's all about tech.
When is your next interim session?
Interims are in the next 2 weeks. Next Sunday.
Pipestem, right?
Pipestem, yeah. So lots of good stuff. Working on school aid formula too. Didn't get to touch on that, but we're definitely making progress.
Well, I'll have you back again soon then.
Anytime.
You're just down the hallway.
Just down the hall. I'll be back at 8:30.
Thank you, Mr. Mogul. Much appreciated.
Thank you.